Ladies and gentlemen, at the beginning of every single month, I do a fundraiser to keep THORnews up and running, whether there be rain, shine, or March Madness with a major virus outbreak. So I got $315 left to go with less than 24 hours. Big thanks to Lynn and yes, you, Mike, and I'll get to the rest of the list in a bit. But for now, if you'd like to contribute, I got an address, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, and a Patron. Let's get to the news. All right. I'm a little hungover because I got whiskey drunk on camera yesterday to try and hammer home a point that I think this is serious. And they say whiskey helps fight the virus if you have it. So the news is in, and North Carolina has its first case of the coronavirus. It appears it came from the long-term care facility in the center of the Washington outbreak. So, George, hopefully you've loaded up on stuff, and everybody else in North Carolina and in surrounding states, hopefully you guys are taking this seriously. It appears we've got some community spread going on in New York as the third case has been confirmed there, and there are runs at Costco on toilet paper, paper towels, tissue, etc. And remember, it was just Friday. The President of the United States bragged we only had 15 cases in the United States and 0 deaths. Well, it is Monday, 2:38 Texas time, p.m. The United States of America is up to 117 cases and 9 deaths, with all 9 coming in Washington State. The Federal Reserve surprised everybody today with a 0.5 point rate cut. Market shot up for a bit, and then they shot back down. And what's interesting is here, it shows California has 44 confirmed cases, but seems to be in the news the least, with a lot of those cases being in North and South California. And I've got a conspiracy theory here at THORnews that they've not been passing out the testing kits because testing kits still won't be available to most places until the end of the week, and this is about 8 weeks after the initial outbreak in China. I think they really didn't want to disrupt the Super Tuesday because there's nothing of a higher priority in the United States than politics. And then after that comes stock markets, and then after that it's, anything else. And so the benchmark I've been following is Japan, because they shut down 128 million people and shut down all schools for a month when they got 200 cases and 7 deaths. The United States is now at 117 cases, 9 deaths, and there's still very little talk of shutting schools down, although they did close 48 schools in Washington. And I wouldn't be surprised if at some point the government goes to overcorrect what I'm pretty sure is rapid community spread going on across the USA right now. The United Arab Emirates has closed down all of their schools with 4 weeks, and they only have 21 cases. The Washington State total number of confirmed deaths is now at 9, with most of those coming from the older folks' home, as this thing really does some damage to people over 65 if they get it. So be protective of your loved ones. Although older people can be stubborn. Italy has got 60 million people. Today, their cases came in at 466 new cases and 27 new deaths, raising their total to 79 dead. And given the lack of testing in the United States and the social distancing measures made, I don't see any reason why that the community spread isn't going on at a time where other countries have been shutting down their large public events. We are holding political rallies on both sides of the parties. And, there are people out there who think this is just like the flu. You can do what you want to do. It's your own life, man. But my recommendation as Planetary Defense Commander has been to take this seriously and do everything you can to avoid getting it. Because in my opinion, it seems to have a 2 to 4% kill rate. Although, people say that, people who get it and then don't feel any symptoms, they aren't being counted. So it could be closer to 1%. But I definitely wouldn't play games with this thing, man. I definitely don't want it. You got your third positive case in Florida. And WHO rating the fatality rate at 3.4%. And so even if you get, 100 million people getting it, that's 340,000 dead probably in the next 6 months. So that's a lot. Technically, I'm giving all of our politicians an F for their response. We've had 8 weeks to respond, and there's no useful information coming out of our government on the coronavirus because the government has no information to share. The government has no information to share because it isn't testing people. And it isn't testing people because the tests haven't been distributed yet, which there's no excuse for that. Iran has 23 of their parliament members with the coronavirus, and their head health official, I believe, has passed away due to the coronavirus. And then a report came out today that a student who has been quarantined for the coronavirus shook hands with Mike Pence just a few days ago. And I have noted, I think it's absolutely insane that like Trump, Biden, Sanders, Warren are all out there doing rallies and stuff at a time they should be asking people to do social distancing, shall we say. Yeah, Jack Welch died, and they never said it was because of the coronavirus. You had the guy from NPR die, and never said it was from the coronavirus. The Pope canceled all of his events. They never said it was the coronavirus. But it's interesting to see this thing is really messing up Iran, and their response was not too great. So it's going to get weirder. China and Italy pulled out all the stops for their people when transporting the infected people, whereas we've had a more lax approach all the way around. Italy is considering setting up a new coronavirus quarantine red zone near the northern city of Bergamo, given the high number of positive cases. The coronavirus is dwindling numbers for people checking out the cherry blossoms, which is sad because cherry blossoms are beautiful. Much like Japanese women. Arizona has its second confirmed coronavirus case. So, we're seeing this thing spread, and then we're seeing once it starts to spread, it can spread pretty fast. So we have still not really taken any measures on a good way to control this or get this thing tested properly. But as we've been told, the tests should be available by the end of the week. Really interesting thread by Michelle Lai about how she's been showing symptoms of the COVID-19 and how she called the hotline and the doctor. And there are several people who have talked about their experiences believing they have coronavirus and that it is almost impossible to get tested and to have anybody come treat you unless you follow a strict regimen of requirements to get tested in available areas. It's a bad scene, dude. We got multiple waves of thunderstorms this week coming across the southeast as a major tornado ripped through Nashville, killing 22 people yesterday. COVID-19 causes more severe disease than the flu. No one has immunity to COVID, which is one of the reasons I am paranoid of it. 3.4% fatality rate. Flu kills less than 1%. And we have vax therapeutics for the flu. We do not for COVID. And I want to remind you when people compare this thing to the flu, when was the last time you heard of 7 people dying on a cruise ship from the flu? Also, treasuries hit all new levels today as people rush to safety in their investments. Gold has gone up as well, I believe. The Federal Reserve spent $120 billion today in short-term repo loans to banks, which is the biggest number I've seen. And I would guess the amount of money since September the Federal Reserve has put out on top of 4 rate cuts since September, it's over $750 billion now, which would be more than TARP, the original bailout from 2008. And so remember, THORnews is a big proponent of whatever the government and the central banks are going to do to keep corporations and banks up and happy. I would recommend at least giving out half of that money to the people in ways they can feel it. Like testing kits should be free if you're going to get tested, and just any type of, I know Hong Kong gave every single person $1,200. If you did that for all Americans, it would be like $400 billion. So just remember that whenever they're just doling out money to the banks, We have had a version of corporate socialism going on since September. They don't talk about that in the media much. And it looks like we're going to fall severely short of the FDA's pledge for 1 million coronavirus tests by Friday. So even though they're saying we're super prepared and we'll have all tests out by the end of the weekend, I'm not sure that's the case. And I know I'm trying not to be political, but I've said the whole time I think Trump and Pence and the right's attitude on this thing has been pretty lax. And the whole thing with watching them run around, I don't know, man. This story is pretty. I don't want to lose the president. I don't want to lose anybody. And so this story is pretty creepy, man. Remember, Bernie, Biden, and Trump are all in the age where the fatality rate, if you get it, is really high. So say your prayers, people. See, 4 hours ago, we had 106 cases, and now we're 117. So, and this is with a lot of people being unable to test. So when they do finally get the tests out, I think the numbers are going to explode. And I think we'll have found that we've been pretty lax on the measures we took, because China supposedly got all of its numbers going down now and is slowly returning back to life. Remember, they took 2 months almost of shutting down the major cities where the outbreaks were. And we haven't done anything except restrict travel to to and from Iran and China. And with the lack of proper planning from both parties, we're going to put our skilled nursing facilities and healthcare workers at risk as this thing really starts to expand. 8 weeks after initial China outbreak, CDC official Shuchat says by the end of the week, all the U.S. state public health labs should be able to do coronavirus testing. That's 2 weeks later. Munich says the coronavirus will be worse than the flu. Thank you. You've been very helpful. Yeah, the tornado through Tennessee did some major damage to people and the John C. Toon Airport. I mean, it really messed up a lot of stuff, and it was on the ground for a long time, which is a sign that this spring's probably going to be really bad for severe weather and flooding. And then the Trump was like, hey, man, we want 0% interest rates, and we want a lot more quantitative easing. So he's like, get those printing presses running. And so when they do that, and they're going to do that, let's just try and make sure some of that money ends up in the people's hands and not like 2008, where it all just went to the banks. Ben Schwartz thinks the rate cut was a smart move, as it will distract the coronavirus into building a home or expanding its small businesses. You know what? I just want to cuddle. But everybody, okay, my standards are high. Apparently, there's some big trading app called Robinhood, and it experienced major outages for 2 days in a row if you wanted to trade into the down days. I'm just not sure all money investing stuff is fair, bro. I'm not trying to pick on anybody, but I've mentioned before that, super rich, super famous people at times cannot be compelled to listen to other people. And here's Boris Johnson bragging about how he was at a hospital where there were a few coronavirus patients, and he shook hands with everybody. And I'm just like, what is going on, man? I've been in a version of soft lockdown, which gets harder every day, since February 10th, and I've kind of told everybody to do the same. Definitely, if you know of any coronavirus positive people, I wouldn't be hanging out with them. No offense. I don't want to discriminate against people with it, but Wendell Potter, as coronavirus dominates the news, there's a fact rarely gets noted, but is staring us in the face. America's for-profit healthcare system will make this much worse by denying sick people care. I found this on the web for America's for-profit healthcare system. Check it out. Well, my iPhone just lit up for the first time ever. That's weird. Thanks, Siri. And make it unaffordable for many. And as a former insurance exec, he knows by firsthand. And then continuing our gas giants on the same side, leading to Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. March 3rd, Indonesia's most active volcano, Merapi, erupted Tuesday in a major way, spewing smoke and ash 19,680 feet into the sky. And so 2020 is as crazy as I've been advertising it for the last few years. I've done my best to mentally, physically, and spiritually prepare you. Asteroid Fight Club. And I'm glad I've spent the last month warning people about getting ready for possible lockdowns and just changes in behavior and disruptions to society. Over the last month, I do not think this is being blown out of proportion, but I'm personally taking it seriously. I hope you do the same. And if you would like to contribute, this is the last day, but you guys have been pretty fantastic so far. I can't say thank you enough. If you want to contribute, I got an address, PayPal, Venmo, CashApp, Patron. Got $315 left to go. Super thank you to Lynn. You are amazing, awesome, amazing, awesome. And Mike, sorry I left you off the list, buddy. You know I love you, man. What would I be without you? Advisor Tech, you're fantastic. Marriage Guy, you're great. Colleen, you're a mystery. E-Jubes, you're wonderful. Silent Bob, I'm not even sure how to have a YouTube channel without you. Athena, protector of all things. Robert, always roaming and letting us know. Jamie is super. Caleb is great. Steven is awesome. Henry's fantastic. Computer Social Impact Research, keeping it real. JL, would I have a Jon Snow without you? I don't know. Viking Marine and Hopi Warrior Princess, they are warriors in the big battles with me along the way. It's always great to hang out with other superheroes. I wouldn't have a new iPhone without them. Lynn again, Texas Angel. Susan, one of the very first people. Lynn and Susan were the first people to be like, we got something really bad coming right around the Saturn and Pluto conjunction. Cody, you're great. Tom, you're fantastic. Kenneth, wonderful. Whimsical, amazing. Thank you to everybody out there. Y'all are super. There's no way I'd still be doing this without you guys. And sometimes in the last few months, I've been like, I don't want to keep being Planetary Defense Commander because we're going to lose a lot of people and they're going to be on my watch. But I'm still here doing my best. So I love you guys. It's going to get weird. So please be cool, stay calm, and just make some smart decisions, y'all. All right. Talk to y'all soon. Peace out. And God bless everyone. And step up your prayer game. If you include me in your prayers, that would be great. But pray for good solution. Let's hope this thing does kind of go away in a couple months, though. Don't plan on that. All right. God bless everyone.